How's everybody doing? Who's drunk? So next on would be. So I'm talking. So first of all, who saw me last year speak? Oh, a few of you. So it's been a very different year to last year. I made somebody cry last year in my presentation. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I did. I brought them to tears, yes. So it's been an interesting year, and I'm about to share why it's been so interesting with you. I've been heavily involved in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin for the last 10 months, and it's been a mad 10 months. So who knows what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are? So we're kind of halfway there. So the aim of the next officially 45 minutes, but it may go over slightly, sorry, is to tell you a little bit more about it and how you can start getting involved and why you should be getting involved. Because if I said that I haven't been as excited about any business for a long time. The last time I was this excited in business was when I was just getting into the adult industry. And I knew there were millions to be made, but I was sitting there in my one-bedroom flat, 10 grand in debt, driving a cab at night, still working at it, knowing there was something there, and one click of a button took me to a place where I made a few million quid from adult. And I genuinely feel like this is the next big thing for me. And you guys, there's so much potential, it's not even funny. So this is Crypto Profit, and you really are welcome to the new digital money, new revolution, because it's, whatever you've heard, just do me a favor, whatever you've heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency over the last 12 months, maybe in the media, just put it out of your mind for a few minutes and just work with me on it, because I'm going to convert as many of you as I can as to why, one, you should be interested, and two, you should be involving it in your businesses. So a little bit about me. I've been online since '97, so I'm a relative dinosaur online, really. I made my first dollar online in '98. Made about $4.5 million, lost $4.5 million, and I wrote a book last year, which is here, which I'll be talking about a little bit more. So as you can see from the cover of the book, it's been a far from conventional life, and I've had my fair share of ups and downs, but what it's all done is teach me a lot about online business and what to do and not to do, more importantly. So I've been around the block and I know what I'm talking about to a degree. And all of the internet marketing stuff that I know, I'm now applying to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So these are some of my businesses that I'm running. We're launching bitbanks.com on Monday, which is going to be a site that makes it easy for people to be able to buy cryptocurrencies. Banks Mining, which I'll get onto, the mining process of cryptocurrencies is one of ours. We're launching our own coin, our own crypto coin. I have a software company with Leah Butler-Smith, and Wealth Junction is our affiliate program for that. And I'm shortly going to be launching Entrepreneur Action as well with a very great marketer. Not a lot of people know him, but Neil Stafford, if anyone knows him. And one of my passion projects is Music is Life, which is a non-profit organisation I'm setting up. So I'm busy. So what is cryptocurrency? So if I had to ask you what it was, shout out what you think it is.
Digital medium and exchange.
It's a digital media of exchange. So if I gave you a fiver now, what does it really mean? If I give you a £5 note, what does it actually mean? It's a promise to pay. Of course, many years ago it was backed by gold, but the UK government sold all our gold off, so it doesn't really mean a great deal. And there's a great video on YouTube about the American way of banking and how really it's just massive pieces of paper passing around, and it doesn't really mean a great deal. So this fiver that I could give you, it means you associate a value with it. That's all it means. You could then, of course, go and walk in and buy a coffee with it or whatever, but it's not much more to it than that. So Bitcoin, which is the first cryptocurrency, started in 2009 by an unknown entity, we think in Asia. And essentially they had the idea of setting up a currency that had no government involvement, no centralized banking system, and was completely decentralized and peer-to-peer. So that means, in theory, if you had the right app on your phone, I could send you a Bitcoin now from my phone to yours, and there's no middleman at all involved. It's peer-to-peer, like file sharing and what have you. So, and the transaction costs are negligible. And with every Bitcoin, or most Bitcoin, most cryptocurrencies, there's a limit to how many coins there will ever be. So with Bitcoin, there'll only ever be 21 million coins. Only ever. Now, the first question I get asked is, well, who says that? Well, the system says that. The system's a self-regulating system. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins in the world. And there's currently about 13 million. And it gets harder and harder and harder to produce Bitcoins. And I'll come on to how you produce Bitcoins later on. So up until this time last year, you could buy Bitcoin at about the $20 mark. It's currently trading at about $630, and it did go up to $1,250 in December. So it's really taking off. It's fascinating, really fascinating. So how I got involved was, who knows Brad Goss? You saw him on that stupid video earlier on that he was having his makeup done. And he called me up I've got the Skype call recorded actually, and he called me up probably March last year and said, he was all excited, Mark, have you heard of Bitcoin? No, I haven't. And he'd spoken to about half a dozen people that just didn't get it and weren't excited, and I immediately was excited, and that was the pivotal call that introduced me to it all. So it's just about a year I've been aware of it. And Brad aimed to tried to tell me what it was all about, and I kind of half got it, enough to be interested, and that's where I got into it. And like I said earlier, it reminds me of the adult business when I was first getting into it. That if there are not multiple millions of pounds to be made by me personally out of this in the coming years, then I won't put him back in prison again for not doing a good job. Yeah. So one of the biggest things you get is, isn't Bitcoin risky? You know, it's so volatile, isn't it risky? And the media is a big part of driving the price of Bitcoin. So many of you will have heard about the problems of Bitcoin over the last few months. So there are guys there now trading Bitcoin purely based on the news. They are watching Google News and they are trading based upon that news. So if it's good news, they're buying quick. If it's bad news, they're selling quick. But the media drives the price of Bitcoin at the moment. And who knows, who's heard of Mt. Gox that went tits off? So Mt. Gox, anybody that was in the know knew that Mt. Gox was having problems many, many months. And the reason Mt. Gox went wrong is it just grew too big. But this industry is so new that people are really struggling to keep up with such businesses like that. So my opinion of all of these things that you keep hearing is we are so new into it that give it a year, things will be very, very different and a lot more stable. And already good, stable companies working with Bitcoin that are never going to go wrong, are never going to be having the problems that the likes of Mt. Gox have had. So the media is a big part of it at the moment. And you hear all the stories. I mean, who heard the story of the guy in Norway that spent $27 on Bitcoin in 2009 and then went and bought an apartment for it last year for £500,000 worth? Or the guy in Wales that mined it when it was worth nothing back in 2009, 2010, and then threw his laptop away because it wasn't.
That one.
Yeah, so he threw a laptop away and then started hearing about Bitcoin on the media, and then realised that laptop was worth £3.5 million quid. Or the hard drive that held the Bitcoins was worth £3.5 million quid. And there's a funny story about that. That story broke just as Bitcoin was really going mental. It was going to the $1,200 mark. So the day the story broke, after 24 hours, that hard drive somewhere on a landfill in the middle of Wales, under 3 foot of shit, was worth £500,000 more in a day. It ended up being worth just about £4 million. But these guys were mining it, we'll come on to mining shortly, when it was worth nothing. It was a geeky thing to mine bitcoins. There was no monetary value at all when people were first doing it. It was a lot of the gamers were involved. So this guy threw his hard drive away, and from what I know, never found it. So if you want to start digging, there's a landfill in Wales somewhere with Bitcoin worth about £2.5 million at the moment on it. I heard that he went to the site manager of the place, and the site manager said, well, it's there somewhere. And it's a football pitch size, and it's going to be under 3 or 4 foot. So, off you go. So, mining crypto, right? So the idea of how Bitcoin is produced is that high capacity computers mine in a logarithm, a system that self-regulates itself, right? So just don't get too bored by this, but I'm just trying to explain a little bit by how it works. So at the moment we have a server room full of computers that are mining Bitcoin constantly and other types of currency constantly. And every 10 minutes, a block of Bitcoins gets released by the system. And at the moment, a block's worth 25 Bitcoins. So we've got computers mining all day, every day, trying to find our share of Bitcoins. And that's how cryptocurrency is created. So at some point they say it will actually cost more in electricity to run a machine than a Bitcoin will be worth. And Adrian here in the audience, he's the man here that builds, or Adrian, put your hand up just so people know. He's the man that builds, he's the technical whiz behind building all of the machines for me. And we've seen a difference already. We were mining in December, and now what we create, it's getting harder. But the machinery is getting more powerful. So you're in a constant catch-up playing for mining the machinery. But most people don't mine Bitcoin at all, or of any currencies. There's some of my machines just pumping away. So these things here are just graphics cards. They're high-end graphics cards that are running all the time, trying to crack the code that is the currency. And every now and then we get Bitcoin come in. There's over £100,000 of equipment in that room now. So how big is it? You know, how big is this market we're talking about? Well, this is about a week or so old, but the current market cap's over $10 billion at the moment. So that's the total amount of Bitcoin and crypto-related currency out there. And Bitcoin represents 70% of that. So Bitcoin itself is worth over $7 billion, and Bitcoin's trading at $600 odd now. So you can imagine when it was at the $1,200 mark, you were talking some serious money floating around in this industry. And it is a multi-billion dollar industry. There's companies setting up all the time. The amount of venture capital going into Bitcoin and crypto-related businesses is just mental. It reminds me of the dot-com era back in the day. So if you're sitting there thinking, this is all very well and good, Mark, but isn't it just a bubble that's going to go away? Bitcoin can't go away. It's impossible for any government to say we're closing it down. Impossible. A government may say we're not allowing you to trade in it, but as I'll show you in a little while, that doesn't even work. So it's going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere at all. And as I said earlier, just ignore the bullshit of media. Trade on it and get involved when you hear some bad news. Everybody should be buying Bitcoin now, because I'll guarantee Bitcoin will be at a steady $1,000 by the end of the year again. Because I know of so many things, really decent, solid things that are happening within the market that are going to make it, you know, you've got Amazon currently looking at integrating Bitcoin into their payment mechanisms. Who uses Fiverr for outsourcing? Who uses Fiverr? You can now pay for your Fiverr gigs using Bitcoin. You Overstock in the States, one of the biggest component companies in the US, take Bitcoin. The first day they launched it, they did $150,000 in Bitcoin trade. Richard Branson takes Bitcoin. If you want to go and put your deposit down or fly into space with him, he'll take Bitcoin. So it's going nowhere. And the CEO of PayPal, who I have a very nice relationship with, David Marcus, has said publicly that he holds Bitcoin, he's very interested in it, and he can see it as a future of currency. Now, I'm not saying PayPal will start accepting it, but I think they'd be stupid not to. And the day that you can buy Bitcoin with your PayPal balance is the day you will be looking at a very nice Bitcoin value. So, Cameron Winklevoss, who saw the film The Social Network? So you know the story of the Winklevoss brothers that sued Zuckerberg because they said Facebook was his idea and they had an undisclosed power. So they're wealthy family, to be fair. But the two brothers own over £10 million worth of Bitcoin. And they've never spent one, ever yet. I actually heard a news story that they paid their deposit to fly to space with Bitcoin. So that's probably the only Bitcoin they've ever spent. But he thinks it could be a $40,000 currency one day. Now that kind of puts people off because we're used to pounds and pennies and cents. So I can, at the moment, a pound's only divisible by 2 decimal places, but Bitcoin's divisible by 8. So even if it is a $10,000 coin one day, you can still send me, $20, $30, $40 worth of Bitcoin. And Cameron Winklevoss thinks it could. It might hit $40,000 one day. And yeah, so this news story was, well, I can't read that. What date was that? So that was November 9th, 2013. So back then, and admittedly, that was before the big $1,000 push. So they spent $11 million on Bitcoin, and it was worth at that time $32 million. And that's the price. That's about a week out. Not a lot has happened in the last week, right? So you see, well, that didn't work. So I've lost my thing. I'll do it here. So you see this spike here. So this was April time, right? So before, it hardly registered compared. But this spike here, you remember when it all kicked off with the banking in Cyprus? I know somebody in this room that remembers it very well. Sorry. So remember when Cyprus started just taking money out of people's accounts as they got enough in there, and it all kicked off, and the world knew about it. That's when Bitcoin spiked. It hit 260. On some markets, it hit $260. Then it dropped back, and then bang! Look how it spiked. So this doesn't represent it, but on some market, on Mt. Gox, which always had a higher price for some reason, it hit 1250. But you can see how it shot off, and then that dip. See the dip straight after here. Then China started talking about not accepting it, and various other things happened. So it dipped and it come back up, and it's currently running at about $600 mark. But there are tens of other coins out there, other currencies, not just Bitcoin. So you've got Litecoin, which is essentially, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I think it's the silver equivalent of Bitcoin's gold. I don't think Bitcoin will ever become a transactional currency because it takes too long for me to send it to people. But something like Litecoin, you can see again, similar in the graphs, but then it spiked. I bought it at about the $11 mark. And it went up and it's come back down, but now's the time. Seriously, now is the time to get involved. I look at that and I think, world of opportunity, because I know, well, I think I know, Litecoin will be a constant $30 by the end of the year, a steady $30. Maxcoin, who knows Max Kaiser? Anybody seen the Kaiser report? So Maxcoin is Max Kaiser's coin, which is a very different graph. But he only launched it early Feb. And to be honest, the whole launch was a complete nightmare. We were trying to mine the coin and things weren't working right. It was just a big screw up. But when he launched it, within a day or two of it launching, it got a $6 value to it. And he launched the day before. And you can see it steadied down, took another hit. But it's still, I think it's currently running at about $1 per coin, which is mad considering it only launched the 7th of February. WorldCoin's a bit of a passion of mine. It's a pain in the arse as well at the moment, but it's a passion. WorldCoin, we're actively mining WorldCoins every day. We've got 6 of our 12 machines mining WorldCoin. And WorldCoin's great because I could send you 1,000 WorldCoins now and you have them within a minute. And as you can see, it topped out about 95 cents. And again, you'll see the thing. This whole market really took off November, December time. It was a 95 cent currency. It's currently in the doldrums for many, many reasons. But I am that confident that WorldCoin will hit back at a 50-cent value very quickly. In the next 6 months, it'll be a constant one. It better be, because I've got over 50,000 of them sitting in my wallet. But that's WorldCoin. WorldCoin's an interesting one because I've been involved with the foundation that promotes it, and I think there's big things to happen. It's a very steady currency to get involved in. So that's one of my WorldCoin wallets. So you can see here that these are just snapshots of some of the wallets, the online wallets that I have. And that's a typical wallet, how a wallet looks like. And you can see here, payments in and payments out, and what have you. You can start trading these, right? You can trade cryptocurrency. So Cryptsy is one of the better, well-known trading platforms, and you can put Bitcoin in and trade it was 126 active markets, different currencies, when I took that screen cap. And you can start trading, which I'll talk about in a little minute. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go live and show you one of my trading accounts so you can see what I'm talking about. Excuse me a second. So this is one of my client accounts. Just check that the password is hidden. Yeah. So it's going to ask me for an authentication, isn't it? Sorry. I just want to show you what actively is going on in the market. Give me a second, bear with me guys. I only set this up a couple of days ago. It's the second. There's a lot of money sitting in his account, so that most people that are sensible use authentication services, which I've lost on my phone. So maybe I won't show you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hang on, guys. Thanks for laughing at me in my time of need, folks. I've got it. I've only just switched from iPhone to Android for my main phone, so I'm still kind of getting used to it, which sounds pathetic, but I am. So is this of interest to people? It better be, because what I'm going to come next is to how you can get involved and how you can integrate it into your business, which is a really exciting part. Because the barrier of entry for just starting to accept Bitcoin, trust me, if you've got any form of established business and you start accepting Bitcoin for your products and services, and you put a press release out that you're doing it, just the media love that you'll get for that is worth doing in itself, without even accepting Bitcoin. So this is one of my trading accounts. So you can see there's just over 3 Bitcoin in there, but we've got 727 Litecoin in there. We've got 10,000 WorldCoin in there. So you can see how outdated that screen cap was at 126 markets, because there's now 151 markets you can trade in. So let's say I wanted to, whoa, there's a load of new stuff come up, I'm not used to. Let's say we wanted to buy WorldCoin, Right? Now I know you're going to say, well, how do I get Bitcoin in now? I'm going to show you that in a minute. But let's assume you had Bitcoin to spend. It's all changed on me. So I'm going to find what you all will have perhaps heard of. Live is great. Yeah. I'm just going to pick one. Oh, WorldCoin. Here we go. So let's say you say, right, I want to buy some WorldCoin. That's the WorldCoin price over the last month on this exchange. So right here and now, there are 3.87 Bitcoins worth of WorldCoin that people actively want to sell their WorldCoins for. And there are over 1,000 WorldCoins available that you can go and buy now for Bitcoin. So I don't have any open orders here, but these are the orders I've been buying and selling on this account. So here I bought 182 WorldCoin for 0.019 Bitcoins. What I'm doing is I turn around and say, right, I want 0.01 or 0.025 for them, buy them instantly and place a sell order back based on the info I know, which I'll come to later. So it's increasingly getting easier to be able to trade this stuff. I'll go back to the presentation, I'll come back to that. So that's just a snippet. I could have an entire day's workshop about how to trade Bitcoins, which obviously we haven't got. But it's, and there's, I mean, I know of one new exchange that you can put pounds and dollars into and buy Bitcoins for and start trading these different markets that's being launched in about 4 weeks based out of Holland with full financial security and backing and what have you. So many big things are happening. So this is my mentor. So before you start Googling him, it's not actually some random bloke I picked off Google because he doesn't want to be identified, but just pretend it's him. So Mark P is my trading mentor. So Mark is a guy that I got introduced via Adrian to, and Mark was a student up in Newcastle. And he went and spent his student grant money on mining machines with Adrian instead of paying his other bills, and started mining. So he was mining WorldCoin when WorldCoin wasn't worth anything. But excuse me, but he's got over 500,000 WorldCoins. So he was really happy when they were 95 cents each. And that's probably just with the market as it is slightly inaccurate, but 2 weeks ago he was worth over £1 million in cryptocurrency. And he started with 3 mining machines. He's just been trading, and he's a trading genius. He spends 8 hours a day learning what's going on, figuring out what's going on in the market, and he's probably worth just short of £1 million at the moment in cryptocurrency. As part of my organisation now, I'm brought him in as part of what we're doing with trading. And the first trade I did, which was a day I won't forget, we did 12% return on in 20 minutes, which was an amazing feeling because we bought it, placed the sell order straight away, and it sold. And the second one was 16% in 12 minutes. But he regularly earns 50 to 300% on his trades. And I mean, he trades a massive amount of Bitcoin monthly. And on a good week, he'll do 50 Bitcoin profit. 50 Bitcoin profit. Bitcoin's worth $600, call it £400. 20 grand a week on a good week. Trading is just part of this business, like I've said here, but it's risky, but it's a fascinating market, which I think in 12 months' time, like the government organisations of the UK got together, HMRC and all of these different organisations got together last year and said, how are we going to deal with Bitcoin and this cryptocurrency market? And one of the ideas that came out of that was that they're going to set up a UK exchange. Now, if that ever happens, you watch the price of Bitcoin soar, because that's bringing more real solid ways of getting into the market. And the time really is now, guys. Right? Forget that Bitcoin's half the value of what it was. It's 3,000% more than it was this time last year. The time really is now. So this is the bit I wanted to really show you about how easy it is to start accepting. So who sells products or has got services now actively online that they take PayPal or credit cards for? So anybody that's put their hand up, in my humble opinion, should be accepting Bitcoin as an option. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up Bitcoin payments now using bitpay.com. Right? So you can go to bitpay.com. I'm not going to do it now because I've had too much live stuff going wrong on me. But you can go and set up a BitPay account now, and just like you would with JVZoo or what have you, get a payment button. You can say, right, let's say you sell a course for $997. I want to accept the Bitcoin value of $997 today, which would be around 1.5 something Bitcoins for this course. Payment button, the person pays with Bitcoin, and then you have various options after. You can keep the Bitcoin in your wallet. You can convert it on the fly to dollars. I don't know why you would do that, but that's an option, or pounds. And then you can have it sent to you as Bitcoin. Personally, if you're doing this, my advice to anybody is this. If you start selling, keep the Bitcoin. Please keep the Bitcoin. And then this time next year, you can buy me as many beers as I want, because you'll be able to afford to do so. So BitPay, you can go there, sign up. It's a 5-minute process, and you can be accepting Bitcoin pretty much instantly. If you know how to use WordPress, you can be copy and pasting and get them buttons on your pages. And then please put out a press release saying that your business accepts it. Because I'm not talking about internet marketing and all of that stuff in this one. Plenty of people that have and will be. But good press releases saying that your business is accepting Bitcoin. I mean, that will do wonders for your traffic. So that's BitPay. Because like it says at the bottom, credit cards weren't really designed for the internet. So Simon was talking earlier about PayPal. And I was speaking to Brad Goss about this last week. And so who wants to do $1 million launch with whatever it is they've got going on? Put your hands up if you want to do $1 million launch. Well, let me tell you something. If you did $1 million launch and PayPal were involved, they would fuck it up within minutes. Because let me tell you, I've had 5 PayPal accounts closed. Dave Chamberlain, I can see him staring at me now. He was there when it was happening. We had 5 PayPal accounts closed, suspended, whatever. Because you know what? They don't actually like big influxes of cash coming in. And you try and go and get a merchant account and say, right, we're going to be doing £500,000 through this in the next 6 months. You watch them. You see how hard it will be to, 1, even accept it, and 2, if they will accept it, get your money out without jumping through hoops. With Bitcoin, there's nobody involved. BitPay are not going to call you up and say, what's kicking off here? There's £1 million £1 million worth of Bitcoin in there. They're going to love it. They take a nominal charge. It's not nothing compared to the credit card companies and PayPal. You're not paying 3-5% here. You're paying small amounts. Don't ask me exactly what, because it varies depending on what you're... But you could go and do a £100,000 launch and accept Bitcoin, and people will be clapping, thanks very much. Not restricting you, and funny story, I had to get my PayPal account back, I tweeted the CEO of PayPal with a YouTube video that I made. And I said, listen, I've been using you guys since '99. I want my PayPal account back, please. And it worked. But for the first 3 months, I was on a 100% reserve for 30 days. Well, how's any business supposed to work doing that? And I'm still, my main PayPal account is still on a 30% reserve for 90 days. I can accept Bitcoin for anything I want to do, and nobody's keeping any of it, apart from a very minuscule transaction fee. Minuscule. So you should all be accepting Bitcoin in your business, and other currencies as well, but I'm talking To accept Bitcoin is the main thing, right? So when we talk about trading, you may be in the mindset of, I want pounds for it. I want to cash out at the end of every month and pay my mortgage with pounds. And I wouldn't argue with you. But my advice to you is this. Get involved in all the other crypto markets as much as you want, but accumulate as many Bitcoins as you can. Because Bitcoin is the one that's going to be... Bitcoin will become a reserve, in my opinion, it will become a reserve currency like gold. Right? Please start getting as many Bitcoins, even if it's just 0.01 of a Bitcoin, start. Because Bitcoin is going to be going up again. And it's easier than you think. So somewhere now, I stole this from Simon. I thought that's a good idea, I'll do this. So somewhere under one of your seats is a silver coin that looks like this. So have a look. Have a look on these seats. If it's under Soren's thing, I'm not doing it. So, silver coin, come on, who's got a silver coin? Come up on stage, my man. Please, if you would. I'll talk to you about this in a minute. This is one of my other businesses. Physical Bitcoins. Now that's going to blow your mind, isn't it? Oh, wait, mate. I hope you're right for this. What's your name, Mark? Oh, no, good name. Right, so I'm going to show Mark, if you're up for this. I'll have a contact. You know come up here, mate. I'm going to show Mark how easy it is to set up a Bitcoin wallet online and get going. Right, so here we go. So one of the easiest ways if you want to start accepting Bitcoin is a place called blockchain.info, which we're going to go to now. Right, so it's as easy as this. So watch how easy it is to be in this game getting going, right? So we go to wallet. I did this with Richard Fairburn last night. I'm trying to persuade him that he will be buying Bitcoins in the next week. I'm going to start a new wallet. Would you mind, mate, just putting an email address in yours for me and picking a password? The live element, it's not going to go wrong, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to. So blockchain.info. You can be ready to go. I can be sending you Bitcoins within minutes using this. So, while Mark's doing this, who's turned on to the idea that they should be getting involved? Come on. You've got to be getting involved in this. I mean, it sounds almost like I'm an evangelist, but it's the most exciting thing I've done. That's where it must be 10. Sorry, mate. That's where it must be 10.
Oh, must be 10 then.
I'm going to do one and then I'll tell you what it is.
I'll pay to get the password.
No, you're right. Okay. Right, so that's it. Mark, go back to his email and just confirm the email link. Done. Right? So now, he can now start receiving money. Right? How would you like some Bitcoin, Mark?
Yeah, why not, eh? Just checking the emails. Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, confirm it if you like. Right, so here he is. This is his Bitcoin wallet. It's got nothing in it at the moment. That doesn't look right, does it? Not having anything in it. So for him to receive money, he could just take that QR code, put it on his website. People can send him Bitcoin straight away just using the QR code, or copy and paste the long address. So for me now to send Mark some Bitcoin, This is one of my wallets on my computer. I paste it in there.
In your dreams. Still very generous.
How quick was that? That's how quick it is. Now, a little precursor to this, you can't actually spend that for about an hour. I'm not going to get too technical as to why, but the system is self-regulating, so it kind of checks that it's a legitimate transaction, and it has to be 6 checks to clear it. It's in it, you can see he's got it, you can see it's coming, but actually, it's there. He knows he's got it, it's there, it's that quick. All right? So at least he's $63.55 better off. It's that quick to do. Quite impressive, eh? So there's all this waiting on things to clear or anything, it's there. He can go and spend that within the next probably 20 minutes for that transaction size, spend it doing whatever he wants. So here's some resources that you can note down if you want. I'm going to show you a few of these. So bitbanks.com/BTC, you will be able to see all of the Bitcoin price historic from pretty much when it started. The same for bitbanks.com/LTC, you'll be able to see the Litecoin price. Fiat Leak is a phenomenally interesting place I'm going to show you actually live in a minute. And Dustcoin is something else you should look at. If you're interested in the mining side of it and the profitability of each coin, you should be looking at Dustcoin. And BitcoinTalk.org is, who knows the Warrior Forum here? It's like the Bitcoin talk, it's like the Bitcoin equivalent of Warrior Forum. It's full of people that are pain in the arses, but with some very, very good info. All right? So I'm just going to show you a couple of things before we go on to questions. So, this is Dustcoin I was telling you about, right? So I'm not going to get technical, but one of our Bitcoin miners runs at this little number. And so at the moment, for me to mine Bitcoin with that machine is going to produce about $41 a day. My other machines, you know the ones where you saw it was like the handmade machines with the 4 graphics cards in? If we're mining with one of those at the moment, it's going to produce us $10.92 a day roughly in Litecoin. But if we were mining Dogecoin, which is another one that hit the press a lot, that's going to be $12, so it's more profitable to mine Dogecoin. So we're constantly checking what's the most profitable to mine with. It's an interesting one. At the moment, if I mine WorldCoin, it's only worth $7 to us, which begs the question, why the hell are we still doing it? But yeah, so that's Dustcoin. So a great, the simplest chart to look at is Bitcoinly. That's bitcoinly.org/markets. Don't worry too much about writing all this down, because I'm going to be giving you something at the end online that you can get all of this and more from. So there's the chart. So on the right, you can see active trades that are happening now around the world and what exchanges they're through. So you can see, so I don't know if it shows up very well, but this is activity. This is how many Bitcoins are being bought and sold. That's the price. So that's a really good one to check out. If you want to get a bit more complex and really funky and feel like Gordon Gekko, go to bitcoinwisdom.com and that will show you as well. One of the ones I really wanted to show you is this. I could watch this all day. So, a big dip happened when Chinese government say, no, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore, not allowing people to touch it and use it and what have you. This monitors one of the 6 biggest exchanges around the world, one of which is BTC China, and monitors where Bitcoins, second by second, are going to. So since I started this up, 17,684 Bitcoins have been traded. and you probably can't see it, but down there on the CNY, 15,700 of the 17,600 bitcoins have gone into China or been traded through China. So you're not telling me the Chinese are not in this. And there's an argument that says Chinese government say, no, we're not doing it, not allowing it, and the price falls. And then suddenly what starts happening, the Chinese start buying. So that's actively what starts happening now. You probably can't see it. 0.28 bitcoins has just gone in. And when this gets mad, there's a little indicator that plays, you can play a sound when 20 bitcoins per second or higher get moved. And it's fascinating to see. Look at now what we're seeing. You can see, as we are speaking, it's all going into China. It's fascinating. Sorry? And it's night time. It's madness. So yeah, Fiat Leak, fiatleak.com is something that's really nice. Look at that transaction, 3.5 just went in, another 3.5. This is all as we speak, real time. So, I've got some questions. If you've got questions, answer them. Anybody answers a decent asks a decent question, gets a copy of the book if they haven't already got one. So, far away with questions, guys. How do you get involved? Tell you about that in a bit. Decent enough question, have a book. Next one.
The mining that you talked about, I mean, how can you be, are you looking for like hidden money? Because you said there's only a certain amount of it.
Well, it's not hidden. Every 10 minutes, 25 bitcoins gets released into the world. And somewhere, somebody claims that. So at the moment, a little stat for you, I like my little stats. There's over $3 million a day being spent on electricity to power Bitcoin miners to find Bitcoins. So every 10 minutes, 25 Bitcoins gets released into the markets, into the system, and it's self-regulated. So the more people that try and mine for it, the harder the system will make it to find them, because it has to regulate that every 10 minutes. It blows my mind still now, and I'm going to be in the bar, so we can have as many conversations about the technicalities of it. But remember this, there'll only be over 21 million, ever. There's about 13 million. And don't think, oh, well, since 2009, 13, so it's going to be exhausted in a couple of years. The system will make it harder and harder and harder. More question? Let's say, the lady.
Have you got a buy button on your membership sites that would accept Bitcoins?
Internet marketing wise, I'm going through an entire new thing. If I'm honest, I've been so busy with this that I've got that much going on. But every single site I have will be able to accept Bitcoin recurring or one time. So you can have one. It's a good question. Sorry, your question.
Mark, you haven't mentioned Dogecoin very much, but they're top 3 or 4 on the list of cryptocurrencies. What are your thoughts on Dogecoin?
Well, yeah, Dogecoin, let's go to it now. So coinmarketcap.com. Have you got a book already? So this is the market caps of coins as we could. So I mean, Bitcoin's currently nearly $8 billion. So Dogecoin's number 6 at the moment. It's worth $51 million, Dogecoin.
Definitely one to look at, yeah.
But look how many coins there are in existence.
Yeah.
60 trillion. I'm sitting on about $250,000. I should have bought more when it hit, but I didn't.
I'm sitting about half a minute at the moment.
Yeah. I'm not sure is the answer to that.
They're saying it's one for the future.
Yeah.
Such.
So CoinMarketCap will tell you the top 100 coins by market cap, how many are out there and what's going on. As you can see, Bitcoin's just about to go to 8 billion now. Aurora coin was an interesting one, 218 million.
Icelandic one, was it?
Yeah, Icelandic one. Only launched a few weeks ago and just went mental. I missed out on that one as well.
How did you start a coin brand?
I'm doing that in 3 weeks. You had a question, the lady, the blonde lady?
Why 21 million, and are the others limited in the same way?
Yeah, most are limited. A couple have built in an inflationary factor, which gets all very technically and what have you, but a couple will increase every year by a small percentage.
But how did they come up with the 21 million?
I don't know actually. I don't know why it was that, but it is that.
Oh. But you're going to limit yours as well in the same way?
Mine will be limited, yeah. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
One more vote.
One more book. Who wants the last book? It's got to be a bloody good question, man. Have you already got a book?
Yeah, I don't want the book, but I've got a question.
Go on.
I've got-
That's a free. Go on then.
Okay, if you put pay, so if you put pay button on, does it have to be that the currency or can you put pay button and then it leads to being able to pay with?
With BitPay, you're accepting Bitcoin. And then behind the scenes, you'll tell BitPay what you want to convert the currency into. So BitPay, the idea of BitPay is you're accepting Bitcoin for it. What happens behind the scenes, you can say dollars, pounds, what have you. Yeah? Yes, mate.
When you're on the blockchain, it created a payment link with QR code. So
Yeah.
anybody on any site could scan that.
Yeah, you can just scan it, put the
So
QR code
basically,
straight.
Why would you need BitPay? What does BitPay give you?
BitPay has over 20,000 merchants using it. So if you've used likes of JVZoo,
Yeah.
it just makes it easy. Makes it very easy. And it's not the most, having a thing to copy and paste or a QR code is not the most intuitive thing to get people to buy quickly with, is it? A
Right.
pay button that people are used to. Pay now, bang. Bitcoin,
Right.
done. So
Other than the usability, it's the same thing.
yeah, there's a lot more benefits to it. You've got one exposure just by being on BitPay. There's a bunch of reasons why you should. Oh, the question, yeah, things like Infusionsoft work directly with BitPay.
Right.
All kinds of things.
Does it get the book? I don't know.
I feel guilty now. I should have bought more, but my luggage was, you know. Yeah, he gets the book. Ask more questions. We'll have 3 more questions and then we'll move on. Yes, mate.
You're going to start your own thing? Isn't everybody going to start his own thing?
Maybe, but then it's down to marketing. And I know that shit. It is. Anybody can start a coin now. I can give you a web address, within 20 minutes you've got a coin. But that's like, doesn't mean anything, really. Next question. We'll have one more question and then we'll crack it on. You're not asking a question, Simon. You're not. Well, mate.
If you start accepting bitcoins, would it be okay to keep hold of them coins instead of sort of cashing them into?
That's what I said earlier. You should. In my humble opinion, if you start accepting bitcoins and get them, accept them. You're really asking me a question, Simon.
What are your 5 hot coins for 2014?
What a preloaded question that is. This is the guy that's helping me launch the coin. How pathetic is that, really? I'll answer it. Bitcoin, you've got to be in Bitcoin. I still believe in WorldCoin for various reasons. I think Litecoin's a good investment. Banks Coin, which is a coin you've never heard of yet, but you will be soon, is going to be a good one. And Eurocoin. There's another coin that's coming out soon. Right, I'm getting looked, so I've got to crack on. I have one more question while I'm doing this, mate. Yeah?
Are there any tax advantages?
Well, HMR's, I hate tax, but HMRC just said that they're not levying VAT on trading of Bitcoin. It's not active yet, but it's happening. Look, if I sent you a Bitcoin now, it's up to you whether you declare it as income. No, the tax man's never going to know unless they do these exchanges and they insist people use them. Go on, one more question and then I'm paying that. Michael.
Winklevoss said it was going to go up to 40,000, but of course that could just be clever, a bit of marketing on his part. Because by saying that, lots of people get interested.
Yeah.
So he wants to see his own stuff go up, a good bit of hype. What do you think that Bitcoin will actually reach?
Right, so nobody come and sue me if this is wrong. Because I've had enough of that shit in my past. I think it'll be a solid $1,000 by the end of the year.
Okay.
And I think it will be long term, easily a $5,000 currency, long term. That's all I'm prepared to say, but my personal strategy is to collect as many damn Bitcoins and keep them as I can. So there's massive opportunities, right? So any of you sitting here now, excited, I'm able to consult on crypto stuff. I'm taking 1 or 2 clients on that have got the right businesses to do it. Banks Mint, I love the idea of having my own coins, is a new business launching in a couple of weeks' time. So these things here, does anybody actually know the idea of having a physical Bitcoin? Because it kind of turns it all on its head when we're talking about digital currency. So this coin will be a 1 Bitcoin coin. And embedded in it will be a Bitcoin. And I'm not going to get into technicalities, I'm running over. as how it will be, but I will be able to give you that, and you know that it's worth $600 and something, and you can go and cash it in, or sell it, or do whatever you want to do. So Banks Mint is something we're producing 10, very nice, 10 Bitcoin coins, and 5s and 1s, and we're also doing Litecoin, and we're going to be doing a variety of other coins, and I am going to have my own physical crypto coin as well. I told you about Banks Coin and the Eurocoin. They're two coins we're launching in the next 3 to 6 weeks ourselves. If anybody's interested in getting involved in that, there's going to be a little window of opportunity of about 2 weeks to get involved. Because we won't have everybody's dog mining it in the first couple of weeks. So there's big opportunities. I'm doing some webinars talking about that. Trading is a big opportunity, but anybody interested in trading, it's the same as I'd say to anybody that's walking into a casino. Only trade what you can afford to potentially lose. Not that I think Bitcoin's going to go and be worth nothing, but trading is a big opportunity and something personally I think I can make a bunch of money out of. Mining contracts, then banksmining.com. If you go to banksmining.com, you can buy a contract from me to mine either Bitcoin or any of these other coins for 12 months. So every Friday, the noise hasn't come, but I have this little money sound that comes in every time I generate coins. Every Friday, you get paid out of the coins that your contract has produced. I'm not really here to sell anything specifically, but Banks Mining is something, if you want to get involved in the mining and not have to worry about it, as you'll see from one of the testimonials on the site, one of the machines went down because it's a computer, these all have their own little personalities. Went down at 10 o'clock and it was on back up by 15 minutes past. Yeah. So if you want to get involved in the mine, there's multiple ways of getting involved. So you can. I'm here until tomorrow afternoon. So talk to me. We are doing a lot of info marketing on this. So you're going to see my name absolutely, all these places you normally go to for internet marketing, you're going to see my name all over it. Because I want to get this out. And one of the things is that a lot of people, I'm not talking about any of the people that are talking here this weekend, but some people really only want to get you involved to make money directly, and they're not that bothered about what you do afterwards. Every single one of the opportunities that I've got, I benefit from, ongoing. So if any cynics are out there saying, well, it's all very well and good, but why would Mark do this? Why would Mark dilute the market? I can't dilute the trading market. The more money I've got to put in, the more money I make. The more mining we do, I keep coins as my commission from it. So it's a win-win for all of us. As I say, let's speak in the bar. I'm around. If anybody wants to speak to me afterwards, you're quite welcome. If you want to get in touch with me and you can't get to me, my Twitter is my preferred way, twitter.com/Mark Lyford. If you want to hear about Bitcoin prices and all the latest going on, twitter.com/bitbanks. And you can email me if you want at mark@bitbanks.com. So everything I've covered and a lot more, this is a product I'm launching on the 31st, but I'm giving it to you guys now. If you just go to cryptoprofit.co/Manchester, you can download, for your email address of course, because we're all internet marketers, you can download my Crypto Profit. It goes through everything I've talked about and a hell of a lot more for free. So if you go to cryptoprofit.co/Manchester. And that is it, guys. Thank you very much for listening to me.